Hi, Vanessa. I'm Carlos. I'm the social worker here at the hospital. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing great, thank you. I appreciate making time to chat with me. I know that your doctor wanted us to go over some of your assessment results, and so we can come up with a plan as you leave the hospital. I know you're supposed to leave later today, but before we do that, I just want to take a couple minutes and get to know you a little bit better. And so tell me a little bit about yourself.
I live with my friends. I'm in my second year at community college, and I work at a Korean restaurant.
Right, you must stay pretty busy. Sounds like you got a lot going on, working, also going to school at the same time, and also, getting out on your own with your friends. So that sounds like a lot of different things happening for you, which is great. Very cool. Well, I want to spend a few minutes now to talk a little bit about the information you gave us. Specifically, I maybe thought we could start with your alcohol use. Would it be okay if we start there?
That's fine.
All right. So, based on the information you gave us, Vanessa, it looks like you drink about 2 to 3 times a week, and that when you do drink, you have about 3 drinks each time, sometimes as many as 8, and that your favorite thing to drink is margaritas. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
All right. And so, I'm hoping you can maybe tell me a little bit about the things that you enjoy about your alcohol use.
It helped me unwind, helped me relax. It bonds me and my friends, and it's my favorite thing to do at a party.
So, a few different things that it does for you. One of them, it seems like it makes you and your friends feel closer together when you're doing it together. Something to do at parties when you're hanging out. Right. What about some of the not so great things that happen when you drink?
I mean, me and my friends got drunk. Some pictures were taken. And before they got to the internet, we kind of controlled it and took the pictures down. Not to mention, I was scared being wheeled out on a stretcher.
So maybe making some decisions that you wouldn't typically make if you weren't drinking. And also, it sounds like kind of this health scare has been kind of a big deal for you, maybe even also for your friends. Kind of scary to have to be wheeled out in a stretcher in front of them. Maybe even a little bit awkward or embarrassing, but it sounds like something that you'd definitely like to avoid in the future. All right. Well, I'm wondering if it wouldn't be okay for me to talk to you a little bit about a few of the things that we know about alcohol use in young people. Would you be okay with that?
That's okay.
All right. So first of all, I think one of the things that we know about alcohol use in terms of young people your age, and I know you mentioned you were 19, and so there actually aren't any safe drinking limits for people who are your age. And so your safest bet would be to not drink alcohol at all. Having said that, it's going to be completely your choice and your idea what you do with your alcohol use. And so there's a couple other things that I'd like you to know. One of them is that when people start to drink in larger quantities and more often, they tend to have more negative consequences. And so some of the things that you mentioned, for example, the health issues that are coming up, maybe making decisions around social media and posting pictures that maybe you wouldn't normally do if you wouldn't be drinking. And so, some things to keep in mind. The other thing with regard to your diabetes is that the American Diabetes Association actually has a couple of recommendations for people who are drinking alcohol and have diabetes. One of them is that you continue to talk to your doctor openly about your drinking and your alcohol use, which is something you're already doing. So I definitely appreciate that. I know your doctor appreciates it a lot. And so keeping that conversation going. The second thing is that they recommend that people stick to the low risk drinking limits. And so I'm not sure if you know what those are, but I'm going to explain those to you and just see what your thoughts are here. So for women, low risk drinking limits are no more than 1 drink per day and no more than 7 drinks in a week. Also, not having any more than 3 drinks at any given time, at any one time. Okay. So when looking at these numbers and also looking at what you told us earlier, it seems like you're drinking a little bit more than these limits. What are your thoughts about that?
Boring, but reasonable.
Okay, so maybe not the most exciting thing, but something that, may be okay depending on what your decisions are around taking care of your health. Okay. Keeping that in mind, Vanessa, I'm curious where you are in terms of making a change with regard to your alcohol use. And so what I'd like to do is take a look at this readiness ruler. What you'll see is it's a scale that goes from 1 to 10. In this case, 1 means that you're not at all ready to make any changes about your alcohol use. And 10 means that you're extremely ready to make some changes with regard to your alcohol use. So on this scale from 1 to 10, how ready would you say you are right now to make a change regarding your alcohol use?
A 5 or a 6.
All right, so right here in the middle, 5 or 6. Great. So, Vanessa, tell me why you didn't pick something lower, like a 2 or a 3.
Because I don't want to end up in a hospital again. Hospitals for sick people. And I guess I gotta get smarter about my drinking.
Okay. Yeah. Seems like maybe you're not really feeling like this is a place where you belong, still really young, really independent, wanted to take care, really take charge of your health. And so very different from, the way that you see your life going. So, okay, that makes sense. Um, in thinking about a change that you might be willing to make right now, what do you think is something that you'd be willing to do in terms of a change in your alcohol use?
Reducing my drinking for a while just to see how it goes.
All right. So cutting back on your drinking, what does that mean? Would that mean going a couple weeks, maybe a month without drinking alcohol?
Maybe not drinking for the next 2 weeks. And then next time I take a drink, I'll think about these guidelines first.
All right. So a couple weeks without drinking any alcohol, and then if you do decide to go back to drinking, then thinking about these low risk limits. All right. That sounds like a great plan. Do you mind if I make a suggestion of something else you might consider doing?
That's fine.
All right, so something else you might consider doing is talking to our diabetes educator. So we've got a diabetes educator here at the hospital, and they could help you make a plan related to your alcohol use and your diabetes, as well as other aspects of your diabetes so that you can really take charge of your health like you mentioned you wanted to do before.
That's fine. I'd rather make a plan just for me because I'm not about to go about these brochures. I'm not like everybody else.
Yeah, really making sure it's individual to your needs. That makes sense. I think that sometimes those brochures provide some good general information, but really making it specific to you sounds important. So, great. Well, I know that the diabetes educator is somewhere around here, so how about we go find him right now and maybe you could have that conversation. How does that sound?
Okay.
All right, let's do it. I appreciate you chatting with me, and let's go find him.